You know, you're trash talking right here on Trash Talking Radio. And let me tell you something, no matter if you know where you're phoned out, and when it's all said and done, we will get phoned like a monkey. Pay attention to TrashTalkingRadio.com every Tuesday night. If you don't, this is Axe Demolition. We'll come to your house and kick your stinking door down.
Hey, this is the Queen of Extreme Racing, and when I'm lonely, I listen to Mike Trash from 7 to 10 p.m. on Trash Talking Radio.
The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
4, 3, 2, live now.
Hi, this is Harry, a sanitary engineer. This is Trash Talk Radio, and you're listening to Trash Talk Radio.
If I can tell you anything that you need to know, you need to tune in 7 to 10 to Trash Talking Radio. Ultimate Warrior, feel the power.
It's Trash Talking Radio. It's Tuesday night. It's another Tuesday night for you and me. And tonight's show is fashion-packed, full-featured, and ready to go right out of the box. So get in, strap yourself in, and let's get ready to rumble. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. Let's get ready to...
Fumble!
What was that?
Fumble the football!
What was that on that movie?
The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is
listen.
advised.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, stop. Man, that was a pain. 1 week it doesn't work at all, another week it works too well. Okay. All right. Now he blew my wad. I forget what I was
Sounds like a
talking about.
personal problem. Hi, Evan.
Is Evan in there?
Uh-huh.
I didn't do that. I forgot. I got to turn on the page up on the top, and just so I can see what's going on.
So you can see yourself?
So I can see what people are around. Yes, we saw the press release out for the
Yes.
for Evan's thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is. I'm right there.
And he says, "Hey, Mike, good to see you."
Good to see him too. I gotta bring this into. Why won't it open up? Open up. Okay, what do I do? What did I do wrong?
Now, is there any way to hook like a third monitor to a system?
Yeah. Why?
Because I'm thinking I might need a third monitor at work.
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask me.
There's
right.
no room here for 3 monitors for me.
I see, Evan. Now my system's working. Yeah. By the way, Evan, we both saw 360. Was it 360? 360, 350?
350 days.
Yeah, that. We watched that on the release date.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, that was fun. That was a fun movie. It was awesome to actually hear from those people that are a lot of people that I used to watch when I was a kid, and it was fun to it was sad, a lot of the stuff. But the reality is that, most people don't know what the deal is with those guys. Right. And even when I was lucky enough to work in a business, I had a chance to feel some of that, but never to the extent that they did. I mean, because that was all they did. And seems like I'm having issues with buffering again. I wish it wouldn't buffer on Facebook and the other places it may buffer, but you don't get that choice. It's going to buffer. So anyway.
Hi, Marty.
Let's get things rolling here, and we'll get things to where they're supposed to be. I apologize if I'm buffering again. I'm having issues with either Comcast or my cable modem. I'm not sure which one. So I'm trying to alleviate the issues that they're causing me, or that it's causing me, whether it be the modem or not. Shouldn't be the modem, though, because I paid a lot of money for that modem. I know it's not my router because I replaced the router. It's doing exactly the same thing. So that's why I figured that I got to get around to replacing whatever isn't working. So, all right, let's get rolling on to the movies.
Rolling.
Yeah, we've had an interesting week, and there's going to be more interesting things with this week, mainly because I got to get my page back to where it belongs because somebody was messing with my page. All right, let me get to this week. All right, this week was the week that had 3 movies. And what made this week extremely interesting was that we had 1 big movie, 2 little movies. The movie that was supposed to be bigger than the littler movie was littler than the big movie by a lot. And what I mean by that is we have Dumbo.
Yeah.
I said it was going to do $80 million. I might as well have said billion. You said it was going to do $50 million. It did $45 million. You get a point.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Well, see, we're getting interrupted again. We're getting up there. I shut down once. Okay. Secondly, the Beach Bum I said was going to be number 2. So did you, by the way.
Yeah, well,
And,
we won't go there.
And the Beach Bum, you said $20 million. I said $10 million. It was indeed
$2 million.
$1.8 million. So I get a point for that. That saves me 1-1. 1-1. Third, Unplanned. Unplanned, horrible movie. I don't know. It may not have been a horrible movie, but
Hey, it did better than Beach Bum.
that doesn't mean it was a better movie.
Yeah.
And it didn't do better by much in the realm of, well, they were predicting Unplanned was going to do about $2 million. And it did $5 million.
No, it didn't. It did 6.
Oh, I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong 6.1. I was looking at what you guessed at. So you got a point there. So
Woo-hoo!
you got 2 points to 1. So you won that section.
Yes.
So let's go to the
Top 3.
top 3. I said Dumbo was going to be number 1. You said Dumbo was going to be number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Dumbo was number 1. So we cancel each other out. Number 2. I said number 2 was going to be Us. You said number 2 was going to be Us.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 was Us at $33 million.
And
So-
3 is where we differed.
Now, 3, I said Captain Marvel. You said 3 was going to be
Okay, you win.
The Beach Bum. I think it ended up tying. I think we ended up tying on this one.
Yeah, because it'd be 2-2.
2-2. Well, actually, I won this section. So either way, we are tied because I won one section. You won the other section.
Mm-hmm.
So we should do the other thing for where we get the one big total. We should always put that in there, the one big total, because we need the tiebreaker occasionally. This time we could have had, but you notice I put the numbers right there on the side.
Ooh.
Mainly because I was trying to remember. I kept going back and forth between the screens. I thought, I'm just going to put the number down. So there you go. Now, this week's movies. We have 3 again. And these 3 movies, 2 of them I've heard of. 1 of them I haven't heard of. So I kind of guessed off the top of my head what they're going to be. So the first one that I'm going to do is The Best of Enemies. I wonder if I linked these. I forgot. Did I forget to link that? Looks like I did. Well, that means we're going to have to take a little more time because I got to get the right link here. Hold on. Where is my movie review link?
It should be there.
It's gone. I don't have anything. Well, the page is there, but my links are all gone. How about this link? Does it still have it? No. Are you kidding me? Well, that sucks. Okay, well, I know what I want to do then. All right, that's going to make a fool out of me.
Doesn't it every week?
No, it doesn't. Not this doesn't. Okay, so here we go. Here's the first movie, The Best of Enemies. Now, I've not had any clue of this movie. I don't. Oh, yeah, I do. That's that one with the. Okay, I got to change my vote. The Best of Enemies. That's actually one I was looking forward to. Now that I see what it is, here we go with this. Oh, here we go with. I think we go there. Hopefully, this is where we go. Okay, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said I thought it was what I wanted to see, but why is it I don't have any sound? Okay.
Is your mute on?
How do I know? There we go. Guess what? No sound. Well, why is that? Let's look up here. Is there any sound going on here? That's weird. I have no sound. All right.
Well, read lips.
That's strange. Wonder if that's all. Let me see if it's all videos. Because that's going to really make for a weird show if I have no videos. That's a hassle. Okay, let's go down to this one. Let's try this one. I do have some sound in the studio. I've got sound coming out of here. Why do I not have sound coming out of the computer for the movies? Okay. That's really odd. What is going on? Oh, I know what's going on. I'm an idiot. That's what's going on. Remind me again why I know what I did. I forgot to unmute that, that channel. Let's try this again, this time with feeling. All right, get this up here. The best of it.
And who's supposed to be the brains of this operation?
I am totally smoked. What do I know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I even said mute.
Well, yeah, but I looked the mute there.
Stop fighting. This here does the talking for me.
I have a Bible.
Same God made you, made me.
Well, what happened there? Oh, here we go. This is based on a true story, by the way, so it is weird.
And that water. Last night, an electrical fire destroyed East End Elementary School.
Mama, where are we gonna go to school now?
I'm gonna find you somewhere real nice to go.
Not gonna have black kids going to temp school.
Oh, come on. They're gonna put them somewhere.
And that guy there, he plays the heavy in a. If you saw the billboards of the 3 billboards of Missouri or whatever it was, he's the bad guy in there too, and he plays a racist in there too. He seems to get typecast in his roles. I don't know if I'd want to be typecast in that kind of role. Oh, I'll talk about that too. Remind me to talk about auditioning, and then I want to tell you about it too, because you'll find it amusing.
Oh, come on. They're gonna put them somewhere.
Mississippi putting it down. I'm the hottest round.
We gonna beat school segregation once and for all.
Listen to me now.
You better get your ass down to City Hall tonight. Who's next?
They say you represent a great many people in this town.
So the story is he is head, that guy there is head of the KKK.
Right.
And the woman in charge, I gotta find her here. Find her. Where's she at? That one. She is spearheading the getting the black kids into the white high schools.
Okay.
So they're head to head. And what happened, and this is our true story, what happened is the KKK guy, realizes how stupid the KKK is and turns on the KKK and becomes I think he's going to become the hero. That's this guy here. Sam, I think it's Sam Rockwell is the guy's name. Okay. But yeah, it is Sam Rockwell. So I think it's going to be a pretty good movie and a true story, kind of probably mostly true, but still.
They say you represent a great many people in this town.
You'd be right about that.
I'm holding a committee meeting. The council will vote to either adopt or reject school integration. I need 2 co-chairs, you and Ann Atwater.
Ann Atwater. I'm the president of the Klan. He's about to hand you the keys to school integration, and you're gonna lock the door.
You did.
I'm glad I wasn't really around for the integration thing.
Folks in this town want blacks to stay in our own schools. I'm here to protect my family, so all the better is you don't get in my way.
Well, I'm gonna get in your way.
We're here trying to understand each other for once and stop fighting.
This here does the talking for me.
I have a Bible.
Well, then you ought to know.
No, what?
Same God made you, made me.
I think it's interesting, that whole premise too, because isn't the KKK some religious group? Don't they have aren't they have affiliations?
They're Nazis, I thought.
Maybe it is. Yeah, it could be. Well, see, I cannot understand the hatred of a group of people that bad. You're right, though. I think you're right. But I just don't understand the hatred for that whole group of people.
They're good. You didn't have to do that. You should have told me.
As long as the CPLs of the world keep getting their way, ain't nothing gonna change.
She looked at me like I got some kind of monster.
What'd you expect?
I'm talking about
I'm the president of the Klan. I'm supposed to hate black folks.
That part there just still amuses me. Like, didn't you know that when you took the president's seat, what you're supposed to like and dislike? I mean, it just seems kind of odd that he seems surprised to know that he's supposed to not like him.
But every president is different.
I guess. He's like the Donald Trump of the Klan, I guess, because he didn't know what he was getting into. And Tommy Cairo came into the room. So,
cool.
Now, if I don't believe that, then I got a problem.
Now, what we talking about is important. And you gon' damn well listen to us.
She said, damn. She said, damn well. And actually, you could have a well if you have a dam, as long as your water's on the right side of the dam.
I love the accent, though.
The accent?
Her accent.
Why?
I don't know. I love it. Damn well.
And where I stopped, it looks like someone shot her in the head right here. It's kind of weird that it stopped right there.
No, that's the bow that she's wearing.
It just looks funny that it just out of dumb luck that it came out. Oh, yeah, you can see it, too, in theirs, too. All right.
She's in a bad mood today.
talking about
All right, that's the first one. I'll tell you, I think it's going to be a pretty good movie. So, I don't know much about it other than it seems to not. It's not a high-budgeted film.
It's in 1,600 theaters.
Yeah, that shows that it's an independent film. So, I have to think that Sam Rockwell took a back-end deal on that one because I think he's worth. Well, a lot of these guys really surprised. Well. We'll talk about that as soon as we talk about Beach Bum.
Yeah, let's not. Let's
right.
not say we did.
Our second one. I usually link these up so I don't have to do this by hand, but I've got to do it by hand because I'm an idiot and didn't link them. We'll talk about why I didn't.
Well, you were kind of off yesterday.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about that too.
Oh, good. I've had my zingers ready all day for this.
Okay, second one is Pet Sematary.
Ugh.
That's going to be a good movie too.
Okay, I just got goosebumps.
Well, if you saw the first one, it's going to be an upgraded version of that.
In the woods,
And I know you didn't see the first one.
Ellie discovered a charming little landmark.
So this family moves into this house, this brand new house. They think it's the perfect house. It has everything. They want to get their kids away from the city.
Oh, it's like your house.
Kinda. Then strange things start happening.
Like your house.
Yeah, well, like my car.
Place to bury our pets. Remember, when it seems scary, but it's not. Perfectly natural. Just like dying is natural.
The whole town's been using this place for generations. Folks make a kind of ritual out of it.
That part there would be enough for me to get my shotgun out. You get these kids walking around with these animal heads on and stuff.
Well, I know where there's a pet cemetery that's not scary.
I don't care.
At my aunt's house.
I'm not going to. I don't want to see my dead pets. And
It wouldn't be yours anyway.
I've got plenty of those to talk about. I think Stephen King actually probably liked this script too.
Saw these in the trees up there.
They're warnings.
And that guy there too is I like him a lot. He was on
Walking Dead?
No.
Oh, okay. Usually he is.
The something from the sun one. What was it called?
Third Rock from
Third
the
Rock
Sun?
from the Sun, yeah.
The local tribes carved him before they fled.
That's John Lithgow, isn't it?
They feared that place. There's something up there.
He's really a good actor. He can go from being a comedian to being something totally different. Out of, you know.
Something that dates way back. Those woods belong to something else. Something
That cat was dead.
that brings things back.
Church?
They make that cat look really mean and evil. And I guess they killed her daughter, that car, or that tractor trailer.
Ugh.
I know what you're thinking of doing. But they don't come back the same.
See, I would probably take that chance too, because I would want my kid back, you know. Just you'd feel like there's got to be a way to get, you know. It makes sense on the plot makes total sense about that, but I don't know how much it really makes sense.
What's going on?
Hey, you know, we could have acted this one out because the words are all on the screen, and then I wouldn't get in trouble with the copyrights. War said that the original, the Ramones did the theme song for Pet Sematary. I didn't know that.
Hug your daughter.
And it says he was whimpering. The guy was whimpering.
I should never have shown you that place. Your child is not the only thing that will come back.
The barrier is broken. We have a second chance.
And I want to know how they get to do their bodies to do the backup here. We got backup stuff somewhere around in here where they're like their body does weird things when they come back. I can't. Well, it's like their back caves up or something. It was just really odd. Like there.
We have a second chance.
Right there.
Sometimes dead is better.
I like that line too. Sometimes dead is better. I see they should have taken my audition. Sometimes dead is better. See, I could have done that. And I like that better than the way he said it. I sound like a creepy old man. Sometimes dead is better. Anyway. Oh, that one's funny. It says cat purring. Interesting. I think it'll be an interesting movie. And that's opening in, do I have that in my spreadsheet? How many?
3,400.
3,400. So that's going to be a pretty good amount of people, or, you know, amount of exposure to the public. And so that one I think is going to do, it's going to do pretty well. But the one that will do, I think the one that'll do even better is the next one. And that is, where's that? Wait a minute, I forget what it's called. Because I know I didn't link that one either. Oh, yeah. This one is the third one, Shazam. Whoops, hold on. You weren't supposed to play that. We're supposed to play. There we go. Now, DC Comics made Shazam, so we're going to hopefully see them do fairly well this week. I mean, because really all they got to do is beat, what was the big one last week?
Oh, I just had it up here too. Dumbo.
Dumbo. So Dumbo didn't do, I think, well, Dumbo did what I would expect this to do, maybe. Shazam shouldn't do more than that on its opening weekend, but it might. You never know. Okay, this is the trailer for Shazam.
Baby bats, I choose you as champion. Say my name so my powers will become yours. powers. Shazam.
Are you for real?
Okay. Say my name.
See, this is not a... I didn't even know there was a Shazam. I thought that was like something Gomer Pyle said.
Shazam!
Yeah, I didn't know there was a Shazam. And so this is all new to me. It's like all the... When the Avengers started first coming out, I didn't realize a lot of those comic book... that those comic book characters weren't created at that time. I thought they were, some of them I knew of, like Captain America. Everybody knows Captain America. But I didn't know the other ones. And I never heard of the X-Men before the X-Men series. So I'm way behind because, a lot of people knew a lot of that stuff about these superheroes. And I'm sitting back saying, well, wait a minute, where'd he come from? And this is another one like that. Uh-oh, what happened?
Bandwidth.
Let's try that again. No, that was called me. Kind of screwed up because I moved forward. I zinged when I should have zanged.
What are your superpowers?
Superpowers, dude? I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
This is proof of authenticity. Super strength. Electricity manipulation. Hyperspeed.
I'd like to purchase some of your finest beer, please.
His name!
Looks like Slim Shady is going to be making some money off this. Boy, oh boy, we're bringing up...
If you ever run out of electricity, you can call him. Maybe he'll help you.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway.
I just don't think he helps with other issues.
What?
He doesn't help with other issues.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's not my name.
So I guess he must be a teenager because he couldn't buy beer and he had that big chest and became the super Shazam guy. That looks like a skinnier Batista.
You're like a bad guy, right?
You literally did the opposite of what a superhero is supposed to do.
You're him. You're the hero.
You're welcome for not getting wrong. Get him back!
How old are you?
Basically 15.
It's funny.
Dude, did you see that?
Yeah, you electrocuted a bus and almost killed these people.
And then I caught it!
You leave tall buildings in a single...
This is like the epitome of a beginning
Superman.
Superman. It's funny.
bound.
And the camera angle there is really cool because it looks like it was done amateur. So that's kind of funny. All right. Whoops, I hit the wrong button again. Dag nabbit.
You're having button issues tonight, aren't you?
There I am. But I didn't want to do it that way. Hold on. I want to do it this way, and then I want to do this. There I am. Anyway, so those are the 3 movies that are coming out this week.
Okay.
That one's coming out in 4400. Is that what it was? 4400?
I don't think you had that one on there.
You sure?
I don't see it.
Well, where's the whole spreadsheet? Spread down.
4100.
Yeah, I was going to say 40. I knew it was around 4. So that gives us a little bit of things to calculate. And I want to change my 1 because I didn't realize that that was that movie. So I'm going to change my 1, but not by much. I'm just going to add to it. Well, I want to see what I said it was going to do. Then I'll make that decision in a few seconds as soon as I update the web with everything. Now, Rush, could you go ahead and read War's thing?
He said Marvel Comics owns the copyright to Captain Marvel. You can put Captain Marvel in a comic book, but the comic cannot be called Captain Marvel.
That's so weird.
So DC decided to catch to give a catchphrase, Shazam, and name the comic book Shazam.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Oh man, the law sometimes is just so stupid. Was that the best of frenemies? Yeah, that was the best of frenemies. I didn't share that one. I want to make sure I share that one too. So we'll do this and put best of frenemies in there. And
I can still hear Jim Neighbors going Shazam.
There it is. Do this, and then we'll share that. All right, we're not playing you now. You had your chance in the sun. All right, so now it's up to you what you want to do with it. But I kind of gave you a little extra stuff that I didn't realize. See, that's why I know I didn't do the links, because I didn't realize what that was about. And I, for some reason, just totally skipped that part and just did stories and missed that. So, all right, I'm going to change my one.
Well, I know you were off, so I'll give you a pass for that.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that. Because there's more to the story.
Oh, jeez.
Than you know. All right. I am ready.
So am I.
Go ahead. Give me it.
I'm going to say number one is Shazam.
That's understood. Okay.
At $50 million.
Oh, you Price is right at me again.
I didn't even look at yours.
All right.
I've got so many things here open that I don't know which is which.
All right, next one.
I'm going to say Pet Sematary.
That's what I said too.
At $35 million.
Price is righter.
Hey, come on down.
I hope they all tank. I hope they all go. I hope there's a
I hope they all do Beach Bum.
We'll talk about that in a second. I got that in my notes to talk about, because you wanted to see that movie more than any of us.
I know. I had an off day, okay?
No, you had a boy toy day. And then third, of course, is the... Okay, so what amount for the third one?
$25 million.
All right, well, that'll give us what we need. So with your $25 million, I said $10 million on that. I originally said $2 million on that till I realized what it is.
Yeah, I was going low, because usually, like, if I have the movies ahead of time, even just a few minutes, I'll put them there, and then I'll just kind of put numbers in there, and they'll be like, am I okay with that, or do I want to change it? And 95% of the time, I end up changing it, but at least it gives me something to work with.
You always make it on the... it's funny because when I think, oh, there's no way that movie's going to do well, and you'll say some astronomical number, and I'll say, are you sure you want to do that? And you say, yeah. I'm like, that's stupid. And then next week you get it. So I can't really say any of them are stupid because...
So don't say, are you sure you want to say that? Because then you know I got it.
Well, when it's so ludicrous that it shouldn't definitely be...
Ludicrous?
Like, when it's ludicrous. Crazy. All right. So now your big three for the week.
Shazam.
Dumbo. Hold on here. Shazam. 1. Dumbo. Way up there. Okay. All right.
And Pet Sematary.
Okay. I said just the opposite of those two, so we will have some difference between us, because I said it would be Shazam, Pet Sematary, and Dumbo. I think that Dumbo, although Dumbo had a strong opening.
I love Dumbo.
I know you love Dumbo. So, anyway. All right. We got that all. And I changed that to, what I say, 10 million, I think I said that. Was that one? So, there we go. All right. That's the movies. It'll be a good weekend for movies, I think. Because I want to see all three of those. And I may end up seeing the independent one before I see the others because of the crowds, depending how busy they are.
True.
Like we did last minute on Saturday because we didn't... We decided... First off, we went to see... We were going to see Dumbo. And my mother called and said she didn't... As we were partial of the way to her house, said that we weren't, she couldn't go after she said she was going to go. And so we changed gears and decided to go see Beach Bum so that we could take Mom later, and which we didn't do, which is another story. So we decided to see the Beach Bum because somebody was in the Beach Bum that
It just had the beach.
maybe.
And Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about the truth now, because we know the real reason, and that wasn't it. So the thing is, going to my first article here. I think it was the first article, one of the articles. What?
Moore says that's because she works with him on this show.
Well, let's just say that that Hollywood happened to notice that Matthew McConaughey's movie tanked. It says Matthew McConaughey going the way of Johnny Depp. Beach Bum is the lowest opening of career. That's bad for him. And you know, it's funny because you think of Magic Mike, how cool that movie was. He made all kinds of stuff with that movie. I mean, it wasn't just him, but I'm sure I thought he had something to do with it, but it may have just been, what's his name?
Zac Efron?
No, well, no. Your pretty boy.
Matthew McConaughey.
No.
What other pretty boy?
Come on, I could rattle off 100 of your pretty boys. It's none of those.
Jack Nicholson?
No. You're going up in age. No, actually, McConaughey is up in age. What I say? What's the freaking movie name now?
I don't know.
What was the movie I just said?
Beach Bum.
No, the other one that he was in. The Magic Mike.
Oh, Magic Mike.
Magic.
Sorry, Jeff Jackson came in the chat room, so, you know, I kind of got distracted there, too.
Did he have a visa?
I think so.
I think he's living in Canada, isn't he?
I believe.
All right, here we go. I'll finally get this straightened out. Magic Mike was freaking, I can't think of his name. Why do I hate it? I hate it. Matthew McConaughey and I'm getting mad here. I got no memory left.
I'm not going to say anything.
Channing Tatum.
He's not one of my boys.
Okay, fine. He's one of mine then. How about that?
I'll let you have that one. I mean, I think he's nice looking.
Seriously.
He just doesn't. No.
I think he's a lot better than the ones you named off. Oh, well. Our taste in men is different, I guess. I want a Magic Mike, and you want a Matthew McConaughey. I want a young, sexy guy, and you want an old man.
Hey, you know, a girl always goes for a daddy figure.
I guess. It's funny. Anyway, Matthew McConaughey. It's back to the story here. Okay, gotta come on, hit the button.
Push the button.
Come on. Here we go. All right, anyway, it says here this weekend, Matthew McConaughey starred in Harmony Korine's Beach Bum. They made $1.6 million total. It's a total throwaway. And not the first nor the last. McConaughey has jumped on the train occupied by Johnny Depp and Nicolas Cage, which means their name value is 0 now, or next to nothing. Which means that's probably why he does those Ford commercials, because he probably makes more money on those Ford commercials than he makes in the movies nowadays. But for some reason, anyway, it says, of course, nothing will beat the Sea of Trees, but it only released in 2 theaters. Why would you even open a movie in, a couple in 2 theaters? It doesn't seem to be a smart thing unless you have a really crazy marketing plan that, and it wasn't expensive to make. Beach Bum is in its worst, but we saw White Boy Rick, right?
Yes.
We like that, but it says, but do recall White Boy Rick. He was the dad, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Serenity, The Dark Tower, and Gold, and we shan't forget Free State of Jesus. I like that. I liked the Free State of Jesus. I liked Magic Mike. I liked White Boy Rick. I liked The Dark Tower, but that was a really bizarre movie. I'm trying to remember what he did in Dark Tower. I know that. I'm trying to think here. I don't know. Anyway, so he's on the bad list right now because he's couldn't draw in that movie, and that movie, I think it had to be projected for higher than 1.6 million. So be it. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to say about that. Ooh,
Matthew
that was a weird one.
McConaughey played Walter Paddock in The Dark Tower.
Okay. All right. Well, he didn't do so well in the in this movie. So trying to see here.
Everyone has a bad moment. This just happened to be his.
Well, that's I'm happy for him. But speaking of which, we talked about Nicolas Cage. It's there's the Nicolas Cage thing really cracks me up in a little bit because he's a man that should have tons of money. However, none of these do things like this. Report: Nicolas Cage files for annulment 4 days after getting married.
4? I thought it was 2.
Not according to this.
I heard it was 2.
This says 4.
Oh.
I'm going by Fox News because, after all, fake news.
Yeah.
But that's really kind of weird to think about. I mean, you must be really drunk. I mean, really, really drunk if you're getting married like that.
Well, I heard them talking on the radio about this the other day when I was going to work, and they said that there were certain reasons why. But
Yeah,
I
he
think
was drunk.
No, not while.
I'm about to read it. He is drunk. He was drunk.
But what I'm saying is all his marriages were short.
Not that short.
That's true.
According to this, Nicolas Cage has filed for an annulment 4 days after getting married, according to this report. The Face Off star filed for an annulment from wife Erica Kolk on Wednesday, and citing court documents. Says here the court record shows that the 55-year-old actor has requested a divorce if an annulment isn't possible. So the annulment, the difference between the annulment and the divorce.
Consummation.
Well, yeah, but I mean the difference in the paperwork is a divorce they could have. An annulment means it never happened. So, according to...
Well, see, I thought maybe that's why he wanted a divorce, is because he didn't get her to sign the prenup.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that worked or not, but it says, according to the news outlet, the former couple who started dating last April applied for marriage license and tied the knot on Saturday in Las Vegas. I thought what happened in Las Vegas stayed in Las Vegas.
Apparently not.
Well, but this other report I have is also of Nicolas Cage. Here, I think this is it. Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Here we go. The other article claims he and his bride drank to point of intoxication before marrying. So, there you go.
If you can't handle your liquor, stay out of the bar. You're not touching that one, are you?
Anyway.
Good job.
Yeah. He apparently was... he and she were apparently extremely smashed when they did the marriage. So, I don't know. I just, it's funny because I remember when he had every movie that came out had Nicolas Cage in it. And he's another one that has the Matthew McConaughey.
I'm just wondering if maybe that's why I can't get a guy, because I'm not in Vegas. And
You don't drink and don't...
No, that's true.
You need to start drinking and hanging out with Nicolas Cage. You could get married.
Not if he's going to divorce that quick.
Yeah, you got to make sure he doesn't get the annulment then. It says here Nicolas Cage contends in his request for annulment that he and his wife, Erica Koik, it looks like, had been drinking to the point of intoxication before getting married. And he lacked understanding of what he was doing. Because after all, when you're drunk, you don't understand what marriage is.
Well, I don't know. I mean...
That's the part he's trying to tell us. As a result of his intoxication, when the defendant suggested to the plaintiff they should marry, the plaintiff reacted on impulse and without ability to recognize the understanding of the full impact of his actions. Reads an excerpt of the paperwork. This follows the previous reports that Cage had filed for annulment 4 days after marrying Erica, or I'm sorry, not Erica. Is that what's her name? Just has her last name, a makeup artist. So I don't know if he has any money. I mean, I don't. The guy, he's not making money on movies. You know, what could he be making? When was the last good movie he had? Yeah, you could do that. I was going to say net worth. Nicolas Cage. Oh, there you go.
He's worth $25 million as of May 27th.
So he's worth more than I thought he would be worth. Because I know that he is known to squander his money.
Okay, let's see. Don't they have that? I thought they had a list of his films in here, but I guess they don't.
They were supposed to.
Well, they have them all written down like this.
No, I'm surprised they don't. See, he's not worth enough for them to even do that.
He was... Oh!
What's that?
He was spotted backstage in November 2007 at a Ring of Honor wrestling show in New York, researching for the lead role of the wrestler.
Yeah.
Even though he dropped out.
Right.
Was.
I don't think he would have been as good as the guy that they did do it. I mean, he really did a great job. I really felt some empathy for him.
Yeah, there's no way I could put all these into one of their chart thingies.
Yeah, that's all right. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So Nicolas Cage.
He was married to Lisa Marie Presley.
Well, of course he was. Who wasn't?
You.
I mean, Michael Jackson was too.
But
anyway.
They were, yeah. The divorce proceeding was longer than the marriage because they got married on August 10th, 2002, and filed for divorce November 25th, 2002.
So you think Dumbo did what they expected to do?
I love Dumbo, yes.
No, that's not what I asked. I said, do you think they got what they expected?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let me tell you, you're wrong.
What?
Let me tell you, you're wrong.
No, you're not supposed to tell me.
I have to tell you because you chose wrong.
No.
Actually, I have two articles. One says it's doing great, and I'd play that one if you said no, and I'd play it did horrible if you said yes. Anyway, Dumbo underwhelms, but us crosses 100 million at the box office. So Dumbo really didn't do what they expected it to, and I'm really surprised myself. But looks like Dumbo did not do what they anticipated it doing. Dumbo didn't quite fly as high as expected, according to this article. I like how they put that all together. And Danny DeVito was a nice surprise in that movie. You know, it doesn't matter what role he plays. I just like it, usually, when he's in it. I just, for some reason, like Danny DeVito in just about everything he's in. Because he's funny, he's entertaining, he's a pretty good actor, too. And I'm watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and of course, after the first season, he joined that cast. Anyway, here's the preview for Dumbo.
Beloved flying elephant takes to the skies in a live-action retelling of Dumbo. Director Tim Burton reunited Danny DeVito and Michael Keaton from his movie Batman Returns.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't think of that. When he did the Batman Returns, he used Danny DeVito as the Penguin and Michael Keaton
as Batman.
And so that was kind of funny. I really like this movie. It's kind of a shame that it didn't do that well.
But with the roles reversed.
I loved Michael Keaton's role. Michael Keaton just plays an evil guy. Or are you just happy to see me?
Just for emergency.
I love working with Michael. He's the sweetest guy.
And that line came up later on in the movie too. If the monkey was just for emergencies.
And being in Dumbo with him is like, it's really spectacular. In Batman Returns, he was the good guy, I was the villain. Now in Dumbo, he's the villain and I'm the good guy. It's so sweet.
For the record,
it was it was decent. Look at the detail in the elephant too.
Oh, I know.
And that girl there, I keep forgetting her name, but because I thought she was somebody else. I thought that was Anne Hathaway in makeup and wig and stuff, but it's not. It's what's her name? I know.
Yeah.
If I saw it again, I remember it. But
The movie is not a shot-for-shot remake.
and the detail into this
Eva Green.
Eva Green, Eva Green. Eva. And the detail they put into the park was really, really good. I really enjoyed that.
Classic with Burton instead introduced.
I like Tim Burton stuff because he does bizarre stuff. And there's nothing really bizarre about this movie, but I really thought, I really am bummed that when I say it only did 80 million, it did 80 million. That's what a superhero movie does. I think that was right on the money on what it should have done. What did it do? Did it do 80? Is that what I had on the spreadsheet?
For Dumbo?
For Dumbo, yeah. Oh, I thought you had it open already. I have my spreadsheet still.
45 million. Well, almost 46 million.
Okay, so they expected it to do 80 to 100. Okay, so that's why. Okay, that makes sense then. All right. So then it did really do lousy because I said it would do 80.
Just such a
There, Eva Green.
wonderful thing because it's Tim, and Tim always creates like a very warm atmosphere on set.
extraordinary kind of.
And him. Okay, now listen to his voice. Remember I said he was Irish?
Yeah.
And he did that bad southern accent. But this is him.
Love for what he does, and seems like a deep need to tell certain stories, which usually involve, the sense of the outsider and the other, isolation of the other. So he was, just a perfect director for this material.
Welcome, baby Dumbo. We're all family here, no matter how small.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
See, I didn't know that there was a feather involved in the sneezing when I was a kid, when I remembered the movie and all that stuff. So
With all that USA offers.
hey, I didn't give you the okay to give a commercial on my show. All right. There we go. Anyway, so who knows what was going on, but it said it's a live remake of the 1941 animated classic, brought an estimated 45 million. It's disappointing because because Disney and box office experts expected it would make 50 million. Oh well, if they made it 45 instead of 50, I thought it was going to do higher than that. So. Colin Farrell and Michael Keaton took the top spots at the box office this weekend, and has made 116 million worldwide. So it did 45 million here. It did more. Obviously, double that when you talk about that. Second place was Jordan Peele's Us. It was at 33.6. So you think about the Jordan Peele movie that came out. What, 2 weeks? No, probably 3 weeks ago. And that's still hanging in there at 33 million. So that one's doing pretty good. It says here, the follow-up to Get Out has made 174.5 million globally. So they're doing all right. They're doing okay in that movie. So how many weeks? 2 weeks. Okay. So that gives you something to chew on there. I think that it did, decent, but it didn't do what they expected to do. So elephants are out, and doppelgangers are in. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Do you know what a doppelganger is?
Uh-huh.
What is it?
It's,
I'll just explain it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I'm Mike Trash on Earth, and another dimension, there's supposedly another one of me, and we should never be in the same room at the same time because it could screw up the whole
continuum.
Yeah. So
I knew that.
That's what this is, in that they're doppelgangers of each other. So you got this family A and family B. Family B is the doppelgangers. They're trying to take over family A's life. Only the reason I shouldn't tell this, because I'm going to tell this story. Well, actually, somebody I know saw the movie and didn't get it. And when I told them the plot, they said, "Oh, now it makes sense." So I'm going to tell you the plot. One of the daughters of, let's say, of A, we'll talk about A. A is the people that are living on Earth, on this planet. That's A. So the daughter, I think it's the oldest daughter in family A, was kidnapped.
Okay.
Except A didn't know it because she was replaced by the doppelganger. So now, family A has the doppelganger. Family B is the doppelganger, but they have the daughter from family A.
Okay.
So that's what the story is ultimately about. How did the daughter leave family A, and what does family B want? Do they want their daughter back or what? So that's what the main basic plot of that movie is. So, if you're watching or have watched the movie and it didn't make sense, that's why. Let me see. I got. Okay, so this next article is, how many times did you cry at Dumbo?
Inside or outside?
Okay. I would say inside.
3.
And outside.
None.
Okay. That one movie you cried at, though. I don't remember which one it was, but there was the 5 feet. Was it
5 feet apart?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hold that one.
Yeah. Because I remember you were like trying to fight it back. You were too loud when you were fighting it back because I heard you.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you're kind of sitting right beside me, I mean.
Well, here we go. Check out. Here you go. You have a chance. How many times did you cry during Dumbo? Check off every moment that made you cry.
Okay.
When the Disney logo appeared.
Oh, jeez.
That would be you.
No.
When the music started.
Nope.
When Holt showed up with one arm missing from the war.
Nope.
When you saw Mrs. Jumbo and the mama elephant for the first time.
Nope.
When you heard the elephant was pregnant.
Nope.
Nope, I didn't either on any of those. When Holt and his kids talked about their dead mom.
Yep.
Let me put a check mark there. You can actually put a check mark there. When you first saw the lump of hay, knowing full well that Dumbo was under there.
Nope.
I didn't either. When you saw Dumbo's little eye.
Nope.
When you got your first look at Dumbo.
Nope.
When that first one really nasty jerk was being mean to Dumbo.
Yep.
Okay, that marked that one. When everybody was laughing at Dumbo's big ears.
Nope.
When Dumbo hid behind the mama.
Nope.
When Mrs. Jumbo washed Dumbo.
Nope.
When Mrs. Jumbo had to perform and Dumbo was left behind with the kids.
Nope.
When Dumbo flew for the first time.
Nope.
That one kind of got me. Got me on that one.
Yeah, because how often do you see an elephant fly?
Well, because I really didn't think it was going to happen the way that it happened, because he knocked her off the pedestal.
It's just like watching pigs fly.
Let's see here. When Dumbo bonded for the first time with the mouse.
No.
When they paraded Dumbo around in a terrible baby costume.
No.
When people laughed at Dumbo. When people laughed and called Dumbo Dumbo.
Nope.
When Mrs. Jumbo came to Dumbo's rescue.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll tell you the third one. It's at the very end when they were reunited.
And then protected him when the tent was falling down all around them. When Mrs. Jumbo was locked away with the mad elephant sign. That kind of got me. When Mrs. Atlantis started to sing Baby Mine.
Oh, that one? Yeah.
I'm trying to remember that.
Baby mine, don't you cry.
Why don't I remember that?
because I told you that was the song I used to sing
Oh.
Natasha to sleep to.
Oh, okay. And then the others joined in. When Dumbo and Mrs. Jumbo locked trunks. No?
Is that when they were reunited? At the very
I'm
end?
thinking maybe. I don't know if they're
Because
going.
it was the very end.
Let me see if they're going in. Oh, geez, they got a lot. They got a lot of them.
They got the whole movie there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say nobody has to see the movie. Just go to this page. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna keep going because there were a bunch of moments that were pretty interesting. I'll let other people go there and mark their territory. So, the movie was good, but it wasn't great movie like a Disney movie should have.
I really liked it.
Yeah, but it wasn't great. It was good, but it wasn't like when I think of greats, like Avengers, for instance. We're going to be talking about that for a long time, and when it comes out, well, especially the last one, because of them killing everybody off. This one will just fade into the sunset, and But I just thought I'd say that, that's what the critics said. But they did do 100 million worldwide. No, in the U.S. Underwhelms. Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, it didn't do well. It did 45 million, right? 45.
Almost 46.
Yeah, and they expected it to do 50. So it's not far from the mark. They should make that other 5 million up next week. So I'm just glad it's. I'm glad that it's out, but like I said, I wanted a little bit more Tim Burton, where he does a little bit more bizarre stuff about it. I don't know. I liked it, but it was good. It was good, but it wasn't the great that I wanted it to be. You know who Pink is, right?
Yeah.
All right, she's a crayon. Okay, not really. She's in the news. Pink responds to disgusting trolls criticizing photo of son, who's 2, without a diaper. There's something seriously wrong with a lot of you out there, wrote Pink. She deleted the original photo and disabled her comment section. I'm putting that on Pink because people are jerks. And as far as I'm concerned, you tweet a picture of your kid naked, you're going to get what you're going to get. I mean, think about it. Even if you weren't a star, you don't do that. It's just wrong in every way to do that. Mostly you're wrong because there are a lot of trolls out there that are looking for that kind of thing, and so I blame her for that. So let me back this up and hear what she says in her defense.
Constructive criticism is one thing, and I take that all day long because I want it. I ask for that.
Yeah,
There's
she
two
does.
schools of thoughts with trolls, haters, negativity, criticism, whatever. Ignore it. And
Yep.
then there's also some accountability to all this anonymous keyboard warrioring. And so I've taken it upon myself occasionally to provide some accountability for people. We need both people. We need people to ignore it and stay classy, and then we need people like me to keep people accountable. Because that sends a message out there to people that are anonymous and hateful.
Now, let me ask you this.
Okay.
If I had a kid, too, like hers, and I posted a picture of them on my social media, what's the difference between that and kiddie porn? When you just have guys that are collecting pictures, naked pictures of kids. There's the problem I have with it. Now, I don't have a problem with Pink. I really have no issues with her at all because I kind of admire her because she's a groundbreaker. But in the same sense, she's got to realize because we have so many trolls out there that this is going to happen. And notice she's eating our logo, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know why she's eating my logo. I think she's going to be mad at me because of what I say. But, I think that you get what you give. If you're going to put a picture of any kid, I'll tell you what, if my mom put a picture of me naked somewhere and I found out about it, doesn't matter how old I was when I found out, I'd be furious.
Well, yeah.
I think that was the wrong thing to do. I know you probably thought it was cute, but it was the wrong thing to do. You deserve some of the trolls because, as far as I'm concerned, even if it wasn't the thing I keep going back to is that there's no difference between that and porn. You put those kids out there naked, you get what you get. You know, like for instance, if you, I remember it used to bother me that people would take their kids to nude beaches. Okay. Because, not that I have anything wrong with the body, but if you have people with cameras taking pictures of your kids,
right,
and they're naked, guess what? You know, that's a problem. So I just think that maybe you probably should have thought about this a little further.
That their rug is going to get pulled sometimes, and publicly, and their account's going to get shut down because they're not going to be able to handle it.
Or her account gets shut down for putting porn, kid porn on the... I mean, if you really push the issue, someone could say, hey, this is child porn. So I don't know that she could really call them trolls. I mean, I didn't read what they said, so I don't know what they said, but maybe it says it in the article.
Because they're not as big as bad as they pretend to be. And then we'll find the next one. But certain things push my button. You would never say that stuff to my face.
Okay, I don't know what they
Please,
said to her
come
face.
do it. Let's talk about it. Let's see who you are.
I would talk to her face about what my
All
concerns
that
are.
keyboard warrior stuff, sometimes
I hate the keyboard tough guy. I do hate that because we used to have a problem with that a long time ago, and unfortunately they don't bother me anymore. So I don't know. It's but it's interesting. Like I said, it's I see the point of view if that's what they were talking about. I don't know that that's how they. Well, let's read the singer. See what it says. Slut singer shared an Instagram post on Sunday to express her anger with the effing disgusting comments she received on an Instagram post that showed her 2-year-old son Jameson Moon without a swim diaper near a pool. See, that's right there. I just have a problem with it. There's something seriously wrong with a lot of you going off on my baby's penis. About circumcision. Okay, the circumcision thing, I could care less if the baby's circumcised or not. I just think that the problem that I have is that people are taking pictures of the kid naked. And to me, that's the problem. Other than that, I don't care. I don't care if his penis is bigger than any other penis or smaller than any other penis. I think the problem I have is that it really crosses the line to what we consider porn. So, I don't know. I just know that there's a lot of weirdos out there that would get off on a picture like that. I'm not personally. I could care less because I don't really care about kids, but I do care about kids being chastised, or when they get older, people laughing at that and the whole thing, even though it's supposed to be a beautiful thing. So, anyway, that's my basic.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
That's a story I'm going to tell anyway. Yes. And all right, Mick Jagger is in the news. So it looks like the Rolling Stones tour is coming to a quick end. It seems Mick Jagger seeks hospital treatment, postponing the Rolling Stones tour. So that's kind of scary. First, I had different things that I heard about this. I originally heard that he injured himself, but then later on, I heard that it's an illness, and originally I thought it was the ankle or something like that. But from I've gotten a couple different articles, and no one seems to be giving me one answer. So maybe he hurt his ankle and decided that he wanted to take a break. I don't know. Mick Jagger's got to be like in his
I think
70s.
he's early 70s.
And this guy, I'll tell you, whether you like the Rolling Stones or not, the energy that he puts out at 70 something is unbelievable. It just is really, it shows the work ethic of this band. So anyway, he seeks hospital treatment, postponing the Rolling Stones tour. He's sick, and the Stones aren't rolling. The legendary rockers postponed the North American tour Sunday after the 75-year-old Mick Jagger was diagnosed with an undisclosed illness just 3 weeks before the group was supposed to kick off the tour. Now, see, this band shouldn't have to practice anything. They've done the same songs for 50 years. They better know them by now.
Yeah, but still, you know, sometimes the mind goes, and you just have to make sure that it doesn't.
Yeah, my mind went before my 50 years. It says Mick has been advised by doctors that he cannot go on tour at this time as he needs medical treatment. Music industry source and doctors discovered the problem when Jagger underwent a pre-tour checkup. The source said doctors found something and required immediate attention and told the singer he needed treatment at a U.S. hospital. Guess where he lives? Just out of
Canada.
No.
Oh.
You know where he lives. Where does everybody live that's
Hollywood.
No, the other way.
Florida.
Florida. He's a Floridian. He has a house in Florida. So it says here, this is not a serious thing. This was disclosed. Nothing that the fans should hold on to their tickets because. Noting that the fans should hold on to their tickets because the Stones are in the process of rebooking the 17 scrapped show dates of their No Filter tour. So they're going to be back. Apparently something's going on there, but must not be too serious because they're saying that it's just going to be a
They're not making
slight
rocks
distraction.
out of this.
No, they're pebbles. So anyway, that's one band I probably would like to see before they're gone. I did see them on one of my, like when I captured a bunch of concerts. I think that was one of the ones I captured. And even though I'm not a giant Stones fan, I really do appreciate what they do. So, just to put it out there. All right, why won't you open my window? Open.
Aw,
Close it there.
Dumbo.
Don't start crying.
I won't. I like Dumbo.
So, as you can see, my web page is down again. Mitch, wherever you're at, I want it to be up. Anyway, okay.
So are you going to talk about Sunday?
I don't know. Should I?
Yep. You said you were going to.
I know. Okay. There's a thing you don't know, and I'll disclose this in a minute. So Sunday I went to meet with my old assistant from work, from my ex-work. I went to lunch with Jen and her mother. I think Jen's trying to fix me up with her. That's just a guess. Might be wrong. Anyway, we had a good lunch. We all talked we were there from 1 until like 4 talking.
Wow.
And when I left, I was taking my Tesla down this street, this alley, and there was a stop sign, and then the street across also had a stop sign, but it was off. It was just a little off, and there was a car sitting there, and they were waiting to come through. Well, my side opened up, so I gunned it, but I clipped the curb and blew my tire out.
You don't like curbs, do you?
And I had nobody there to change my tires. It didn't matter because I didn't have a spare. Anyway, I learned a lot about the spare tires for Teslas. There aren't any.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't look to see if they put my tire in the back or not.
Oh, why would they?
Because I told them I wanted the one for a spare.
Oh.
Should have checked that. Anyway, Any idea how much a single tire for a Tesla Model X P100D is?
I know.
And it was $388 per tire. And I got 2 tires because I wanted to match them up in the back. And that was a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
What you don't know is that last Thursday, I had an appointment at the Tesla Service Center
In Philly?
in Devon
Okay.
to replace my passenger's mirror
What?
because some idiot broke it when they were going to their conference.
Oh.
They were pulling out of the garage and didn't see it get hit. In the garage, took out the mirror. And I didn't see you, and I wasn't going to tell you, but I'm telling you for a reason. So I was going to keep it quiet because I just was embarrassed about it.
Okay.
Anyway, that cost me over $700 for the mirror.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
2 weeks, my car has run me.
You have had more trouble with this car. Because remember?
No, that was my fault. I was tired, and I was racing out of the house to get to where I was going, and I backed out, and I just didn't look.
But remember, you also had that wheel thing replaced at the very beginning when you got it.
Yeah, but that was somebody hitting the car.
Well, I don't care. You still had to have
These
it
two were
done.
my problems. So anyway, so the flat tire is kind of weird because I called Trish because I didn't have a spare, and she has a tire repair kit, and I repaired the tire with repair kit, thinking that everything was going to be fine, except when I put air in it, it blew the patch out, or blew the stem replacement out, and so I was still without a tire, and I drove home on it. Well, I drove home with air in the tire, but it was leaking out of the tire, and I was about a mile away when it went flat.
I can tell you, because remember, you had me follow you the
Yep,
whole way home.
Yep, I wanted to make sure I made
And all
it.
I could see was just...
Yeah.
And I'm going, what in the world?
So, I have to blame myself. And I got to tell you, Tesla repair centers are excellent. They did my mirror, and except they didn't do one thing, and I was afraid you were going to see it. There is a piece of the mirror, the passenger's mirror, missing.
I didn't even notice.
The red dome on the top, there's a chip out on the one side. And okay, so what happened was when I ordered it, they said you have to order actually I got to respond to that. You have to order your, if you didn't have that piece, you have to order that piece and have it painted.
Okay.
So I ordered that piece, and it was supposed to be painted, and it was supposed to be there for my appointment Thursday.
Okay.
So there's where I was Thursday.
That's why you weren't answering me.
Oh, wait, I answered everybody.
Oh.
I didn't ignore anybody. I made sure I looked like I was where I was supposed to be because I didn't want to tell you. But now it's a funny story to tell because this other thing happened. Had this other thing not happened, I wouldn't have told you because I would have been embarrassed. But I'm just showing my...
Yeah, you'd have told me anyway.
But anyway, so now they have to send a service guy up to come and put that red thing on, and I don't have to go there. They're going to come here. So I just think it's funny, and so, yeah, I'll have that piece on, and then I'll be complete again. So that's why I got a flat tire, because the mirror wasn't all together.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't see. I couldn't see because my mirror wasn't
the curb, right?
Because that little piece was missing on the side. So
now I'm gonna have to go check it out.
I was going to say, I'll bet you go check it out because you don't believe me.
No, I believe you. I just want to see it for myself.
Well, oh wait, hold on.
Oh, you got pictures.
I got a picture for you. Well, I got it for me, but you know, why you're not opening? Okay.
I just. I remember when you blew the tire out on the Prius and you were grumbling because you had to replace tires there, and now you have to replace them. Oh my goodness!
It almost knocked it off the pedestal.
Oh.
And so there. So I'm honest with you. I did actually, and people that, I don't know if you can see it, but
You'll have to put it on your Facebook.
there you go. You can kind of see it. My mirror of my $150,000 car. And now I know why it's a $150,000 car, because they cost 700 and I don't know what,
That mirror costs
770.
more than your tires. It costs more than a tire.
Well, yeah, not more than both tires. It's about the same.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be major credit card debt now, because I am dumb enough that I blew the tire out and the mirror.
Well,
So,
there went your debt-free lifestyle.
yeah, sadly. What is this thing that you sent to my page?
The clip of Dumbo with Baby of Mine.
Oh, okay.
Baby Mine.
All right. All right. That's so that's those stories.
Now, you had also said to remind you about auditioning.
Oh yeah. So I got I sent my information in for. Hold on, I got to read it. I got an email. I'm on this email for that is supposed to be opportunities in entertainment.
Okay.
So let's see here. Let's see. So I got this one here. I gotta find it. I had it. There it is. Okay. So here's what it is. It's for. It's funny how they worded it, so I wanted to word it the same way. That's not the one I want to use, though. I want to use. I bet you I deleted the other one. It's for anybody that likes television. Likes a lot of television.
Okay.
Whether you be a single person, a family, whatever it is, if you watch a lot of television,
Okay.
they're interested in you.
Okay.
So I sent in the information that I have because I like a lot of television.
Right.
But it's for Verizon customers or non-Verizon customers.
Okay.
Verizon Fios or non-Fios. Verizon Mobile or non-mobile. I'm neither, because Verizon and I are at war right now.
Okay.
We've been at war since 2014, where they destroyed my credit rating because of something that is a clerical error on their part. But anyway, so I sent the script in, and the questions were pretty funny, were pretty interesting. You know, it was saying like, I want to see where I got it here. Hate to go by memory. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Anyway, it talks about if chosen for this commercial, I will make $670 per day,
Okay.
plus residuals upon airing for this Verizon, whatever it is that they're doing. And it's a commercial of some sort. They can't use SAG actors. They have to be non-SAG, which I am non-SAG. We'll be conducting a brief 10-minute interview via Skype, which I didn't get yet, and I may not make it. But they're going to be shooting this. It sounds like April 3rd through 5th, and April 11th through 12th, and April 15th and 16th. So if I get this, I have a chance to be on TV.
Cool.
You know.
I've been on TV.
I know. Bad boy, bad boy.
No.
What you gonna do?
No.
No?
No.
That's what I thought it would have been.
No.
I thought it was because of your resting beauty.
What turnip truck did you? Oh, I know what it was. You hit the garage.
Believe me, I hit a few things when I realized, because not only did I screw up my car, I was late for where I wanted to be anyway. I missed the first panel discussion, so it kind of sucked.
No, when I was on TV, I was in high school, and it was part of our class project, or I guess training, if you want to call it that, where we had to answer phones for the local TV station up there for their fundraiser.
Okay.
So yeah, I was on TV.
I've been on TV too. Wrestling.
Yeah.
I've been on TV for a couple things, but that was my big foray was some promos that I've cut on TV and some of the videos things I've been accused of. Anyway, all right. Next. So I'm going to skip that. Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, I did that last week, didn't I? I think I did do the Guardians.
You did.
Yeah. Apparently I didn't delete that.
You'll have to send me the picture of your mirror. That way, when I'm sitting at work tomorrow and I'm bored, I can look at that and start laughing again.
No, that's not. Let's just say I didn't.
Nobody else would know.
All right, we got a lot of crimes to talk about. Crimes. This is a whole new category that I've had. Is there are a lot of crimes out there. First one is a 19-year-old is shot after knocking on the wrong apartment door.
Ugh.
Now that sucks. If you were, let's say I was just having a flat tire and I knocked on somebody's door and they shot me. That's the same basic thing.
Yeah.
They didn't know who he was, and I got a really bizarre one I'm going to talk about too. Another one about a shooting, but this one is really strange because the kid was 19.
Well, I'll tell you this much: when you first got a hold of me on Sunday about coming out to get you, to help you to take that tire kit out, I really thought it was going to be like the question where you asked me where those hard drives were. That's why I didn't think,
Why would I do that? Because you said you didn't know.
Well, I know that, but what I'm saying is I didn't expect you to really be in trouble where you really needed something.
I was really in trouble, and I really did need something this time, and I rarely ask anybody for anything. So
I know you do. That's
it's got to be.
Yes, I know that. That's why I was like, okay, what weird questions are you going to ask me now?
Oh, so I'm a bitch is what you're saying.
No.
I was just being a bitch, you're saying.
No, I didn't have anything going on. I mean,
that doesn't mean that I can't be a bitch. You're just saying I'm a bitch. I just had you come and get me because, that's me. I'm the kind of guy
I will tell you this. I felt honored to come help you.
I felt embarrassed that you had to, and believe me, that girl at the Quickie Mart or whatever it was really a sweetheart. She let me use their bathroom, which is not public. She gave me a knife twice when I needed it. She just was so nice to me, and I was just glad because those people can be a pain. Anyway, this 19-year-old. Look at this video. Let's see. Well, they're not going to reenact it, so I'm thinking that that's probably a commercial. Getting to the point where it may not be. It says a teen was shot and killed days after moving into his apartment. After authorities said he knocked at the wrong door.
Killed days after moving into his new
that's what I just said.
Police say he knocked on the wrong door, and that got him shot. 32-year-old Daryl Bynes is charged in the killing of 19-year-old Amarian Banks. Police say Banks had just been dropped off by a Lyft. He called his girlfriend to let her know he was returning home, but ended up at the wrong apartment door.
Oops.
So he pleaded for his life. He was like, hold on, I'm sorry. And the dude shot him.
Police say Bynes shot the teen from his balcony as he was coming down the stairs.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to get away. Johnson says her cousin only fired at Banks in self-defense.
Why would he be? Why you can't say self-defense because he wasn't there.
The ABC 13 assignment desk hears law enforcement chatter about
asked me if I had heard anything. Apparently, there was a girl. She was on her phone, and she got into a car that she assumed was her Uber ride.
Right.
And here, they took her out in the woods and killed her.
Oh, yeah, I have that. I think I have that. It's on my news stories, I think. I didn't read the whole thing, but I think that's it. Oh, yeah, by the way, I wanted to start doing this. When we get to the news stories, I was going to start doing, I'm going to have to record this separately, but I decided I'm going to have to make a long recording of this, and this is what it should be, the intro to this segment.
Unaccounted for, 2 people are injured. 12/19, shelter-in-place issued for...
See, I thought we could play that at the beginning of the segment. And anyway, that's but I missed it this time because I saw it after I started the segment, and I said, oh, shoot, I was going to do that. Oh, well. So, hey, just trying to be cool. So that 19-year-old lost his life because he knocked on the wrong door, and somebody I'll tell you, the guy who shot him is in trouble because he was walking down. He was walking away from him, and when the guy shot him, so he's probably going to get a life in prison sentence. So, in the terms of that, here is a really sick one. And how many times are we going to hear this? Priest in Oakland Diocese arrested on suspicion of child abuse. Hector David Mendoza Vila, a priest in Corpus Christi Catholic Church in Fremont, was being held at $900,000 bail. Would you send your kid to this church?
Nope.
How would you know that it wasn't, that he was like this? You wouldn't know. I mean, it's sad because you would think that when I was a kid, I always thought that the place you could always go when you're in need is a church. And now we're seeing that the church is the last place that we want to send our kids because they're going to be raped. It's sad. I mean, we're hearing this entirely too often. This should not be happening. These are people of the cloth. I don't know.
That's just...
It doesn't make sense. Why did she get a cake? Oh, because she got a 25th anniversary cake.
Yeah.
Must be nice. They like her. They never liked me. That's okay. I didn't like them either. I'm so happy to be out of there. So, hey, it all works out in the long run, you know. We don't always get what we want. And I got tired of the stuff that I had to deal with. So, anyway, so that guy's a criminal, as far as I'm concerned. I think you gave me that one. Yeah, I think you gave me that one. I want to talk about that one, but I think I'll wait a sec. This one here, a man killed officer involving shooting during a chase. Man killed in officer-involved shooting during chase. Okay, that's what it is. Man, I can't read for nothing. Anyway, let's see what we got here. The Georgia Business of Investigation, Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been called to investigate an officer-involved shooting that left one man dead in southwest Atlanta. It says here, it's confirmed that Atlanta police officers shot and killed a man, they say, that pulled out a gun during a foot chase through the woods. Police say the shooting happened around 1 a.m. Sunday after an officer was flagged down in the 2600 block of Metropolitan Parkway with a report of shots fired. He chased the suspect through the woods. At some point during the chase, APD says that the man pulled a gun on the officer. Our officer fired, hit, and killed the suspect. Police say the officer was not injured. According to the police, the man's handgun was recovered on the scene. So, I guess the guy must have pulled the gun on the officer, or at least, if not, they planted it. Nobody would ever do that. You know, it's my philosophy that if the police are chasing after me, if I'm not in my Tesla, I'm not going to race them. And they're going to get you one way or the other eventually. Nobody ever wins when the police are involved. So, I don't know. Unless you did something really, really bad, you even think that there's even a slight chance of you getting away with it. And the chances are probably very little that that's going to happen. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Looks like this is a case of the pink. What would I be talking about? What could it be? Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Case of the pink. Here's similar to the pink story.
Oh,
child found outside naked. Mother arrested. See, this mother got arrested when her naked kid was out there. And again, this is in Atlanta. See, Atlanta's the new Florida. 36-year-old mother was arrested after police found her 5-year-old child naked in the dark and running in the street. Madolp, I think that's her name. Madolp. Her last name is Kehinde Madolp Kiende was arrested for reckless conduct and taken to the Cobb County Jail. She's being held on $1,320 bond. What's that? $13 you have to bring up with
10%.
10%. Isn't that 10%?
Yeah.
Oh, she's held on $13.20, $1,320 bond. So, no, that would be $132, right? 10%. Yeah, it's 1 decimal point. Moved too many decimal points. According to the warrant, police said the mother left her kid at home while driving another one off at an area school. However, the temperature was 37 degrees, and witnesses said it was still dark outside. According to the warrant, the child was wearing no clothes or shoes when it was found at a busy intersection. Neighbors said 911 was called when they saw the child in the street. According to the records, this is the kicker. Where do you think she's from?
Florida.
No.
Georgia.
She's out of the country. What country is she from?
Canada.
No.
Mexico.
Nigeria.
Oh, jeez, that's just as bad.
And has a hold for immigration and customs enforcement. So there's already a hold on her on immigration, and so she may not have to pay the $1,300 or the $132. They may just ship her out. So I don't know. It's kind of weird to think about her kid being out there running around naked. Why is the kid out there running around naked? How long was she gone is another question, because
if they do it in Nigeria, it doesn't mean they do it here.
There you go. Look at National Geographics. They're all naked on there. So, yeah, kind of weird. Here's the story. I didn't think it had the story. Thought it wasn't.
When weather threatens.
That's a commercial they tricked me into. I thought they were going to actually do it. Let's see here. Oh, no, I'm not going to have it ready here. Don't on it. I hit the wrong button.
Again.
Yeah, I'm good at that. Everybody's good at something, even if it's being a bad example.
That's true.
So, okay, that's the right one. Okay, well, what's this one then? Our video will resume in just a minute. Oh, did I hit it twice? Well, you got the idea. I told you the story. They're just going to say what I said. All right. Hey, I could have got this next one. This could have been me. This could have been me Sunday.
What did it hit? What did they hit?
Tulsa woman riding on the tire rim was arrested for DUI. I wasn't arrested for DUI, but because I don't drink.
Well, try it Pepsi, but you can't get in trouble for that.
Not yet. Eventually, we will. We'll find something. But yeah, that's. You take a look at her car, though. Hers really did a number on her car. Her car, she lost the whole front end pretty much.
Yeah.
So that'll teach her, maybe not. She may go to jail. But I just thought about that. I thought that's how my car could have ended up is all jacked up like that. Okay, I can't get this up any higher. Why is that? What are we doing here? What's this? That shouldn't be open. Oh, there we go. Now we got it. There it is. Tulsa woman riding on tire rim arrested for DUI. It says here that police in Oklahoma said at least one of her rims was bald when they stopped her, but police officers didn't comment if anything was left on the rim of the margarita in her cup on the holder, so she had to drink with her.
Speaking of which, did you do any damage to your rim?
No.
With your tire?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm glad, too. Well, we'll talk about that as soon as I get done with this one. Amy Ann Dillon was arrested for the second offense of operating a motor vehicle with defective tires. Transport of an open container and no driver's license in possession while driving. The police also said she faced a hit and run charge when they once they determined what she hit after the officers stop her. It's sad. It's sad. I don't understand drunk driving, because in the day of Uber and Lyft and virtually anybody can get a taxi
Right.
next to, with no hassles. And if you have a credit card, you can get one pretty easily.
Well, you can buy prepaid Uber cards too.
Oh, I didn't know about that. But still, I mean, it just is. Oh yeah, that one too. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm really glad that I don't drink. Dylan told police that she only had 2 shots of tequila, but the officers said she could barely stand upright and failed the sobriety test. Police said she blew a .21. The legal intoxication limit in Oklahoma is .08.
Wow.
So that's almost 3 times the legal limit. So I don't know. I really am saddened that certain people continue to do that kind of stuff. In this day and age, nobody knows, nobody really thinks that it's okay to drink and drive. And back when my cousin did it and he killed himself, he was arrested, I think 3 times, and had to do all. It was back then you really got away with it for pretty much. I mean, they fined you and stuff, but he's probably one of the reasons they're as stiff as they are on what they are, because he did it over and over again and then eventually killed himself. So I don't know. I'm very saddened by that whole thing. So I don't know. You taking off?
Yeah.
All right, let me run this niche report, because we're going to do it a little bit different than we normally do it. So that I want to do. So let me set this up while I'm talking. And
yeah, these early mornings are just, ugh. They're catching up with me.
Which one did I decide? I think I decided that the one would be...
Oh, I didn't know you were going to put that with it.
Oh, yeah. I'm starting to do things a little bit more creative. I wanted to definitely do things that are entertaining from our standpoint.
Hi, Caroline.
And to me, that is a way to... I think I'll do it this way. Yeah, I'll run this. That's what we'll do. All right. So, now I need to kill the sound here. There we go. And, all right. So, Nietzsche's report is on WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is coming up this coming Sunday. It should be interesting. There are some angles there, I think, that are pretty interesting in what they're trying to do. And who knows? It might be a good pay-per-view. But here is his information or stuff that he wants to talk about on WrestleMania. And here we go, I hope.
Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. With WrestleMania week coming, I thought it was only appropriate to talk about that. And it's hard to believe how WWE is getting more mainstream publicity than I think it ever did before. ESPN, if you go on their website, if something happens, they post it now in their headlines, which was never the case. And it's kind of been like that for a lot of different news stations, and they'll report something. If a wrestler has left the company or whatever it might be, or getting knee surgery, they'll report it. So WWE is really been accepted now in the general population of media and everything else. Proof of that too is now a major network has taken on SmackDown. Fox has taken SmackDown. I know UPN's a big network. The big four are CBS, NBC, ABC, and Fox. They've always been the big four. It used to be for a long time ABC, CBS, and NBC. And then when Fox put out Married with Children in 1987, it kind of solidified them as a player to be reckoned with, and their network has really taken off over the last 32 years. And it's kind of ironic that I brought up 1987, because to me, when you talk about WrestleMania, there have been many great WrestleManias. There have been some bad ones, obviously. You know, WrestleMania 9 was just awful, the worst one I ever saw. WrestleMania 11 was terrible. But the best one ever, and to me it doesn't compare, is WrestleMania 3. You know, that was the big build-up to Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, the big main event. I think we all sat at a TV set that day, watched that event. It had so many hot matches, but that was the big match, the one that set the stage. And just the build-up that WWF did with that storyline was tremendous. And it makes me wonder, like, who did the writing back then. I know McMahon definitely played a big part, but I feel like there's definitely somebody behind the scenes that played a lot into that, because you don't see them do good storylines anymore. Like, the last 20 years, they've really not had good material, but they get by. They still put on a spectacle whenever they put on their shows, and that helps them. But build-up to matches are too quick. There's no storyline involved, and it's just not the same. But this was with this Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant build-up. It started in late spring when Andre the Giant was suspended for not showing up for a match. And then, who could forget the Machines? They were a tag team that came from Japan. And we all knew under that mask was Andre the Giant. Bobby Heenan was adamant it was Andre. Jeff Tunney told him if he could prove it, Andre would be suspended forever. And that was the big angle all summer, was Bobby Heenan trying to prove that the Giant Machine was actually Andre. But interestingly enough, early November, it could have been late November, my timeline could be a little off, but Jeff Tunney did finally reinstate Andre the Giant. And what was unique about it, guys, was there was this big hush-hush meeting, and they couldn't talk about the meeting. There was like a gag order on it. But Bobby Heenan attended the meeting. Now, that was the first little clue that Andre may be turning the other way. Now, as you're watching it at the time, you don't really sense that. Years later, you could kind of put the pieces together that they were giving you a little clue, but you really didn't think much of it. And then Andre was being interviewed about his return, and he really didn't talk much about the return. He couldn't really comment on it. So Jesse the Body Ventura was trying to find out what was going on. He tried to interview Andre. Andre told him it was none of his business. You really didn't understand how he got reinstated, but it was just weird at the time how they did it. Now, fast forward a little bit. In early January, Hulk Hogan gets this big award for being world champion for 3 years. He's all excited. He's happy as can be. Andre walks out. He goes 15 years. That's a long time to be a champion. And then he shakes Hogan's hand. But if you look at Hogan, obviously Andre was shaking his hand too hard. Must have really grabbed onto his hand, because Hogan looked at him like, you're hurting my hand. Right there, I think if you're a wrestling fan, I remember I was in 4th grade at the time. But right there, I kind of looked at that and I said, that's a little strange. Now, fast forward a week later, well, even before that, Bobby Heenan was doing a wrestling challenge with Gorilla Monsoon, and he was like showing his displeasure that they gave Hogan a trophy, and Andre had been undefeated for 15 years, and they didn't give him anything. Now, here's the same guy months before was trying to get this guy banned for life. Now, all of a sudden, he's defending the guy and trying to basically lobby for him to get a trophy. So the following week, they do give Andre a trophy. Notice they gave him a smaller trophy, but they still gave him one. Andre acted gracious, and he acted very overmoved by the gesture. And then Hogan walks out, and Hogan starts saying, I want to thank you for recognizing Andre for all his greatness and the great things he's done in his career. And you just see Andre put the trophy down, and Andre walks away. So right there, I knew right then and there that they were turning Andre, as I used to call it back then, a bad guy. The following week, Jesse Ventura and Piper are arguing that something's going on. There's definitely something not right. They both agree that one of them will produce the other guy for a talk. So Jesse produces Andre, and Piper produces Hogan. You see Hogan come out on Piper's pit, and then you just see Andre walk in Piper's pit with Bobby the Brain Heenan. Now, I didn't notice this at the time, but if you watch it years later, you could really see how bad Andre was doing health-wise, because he's wearing a sports jacket, and he's got, like, a nice pink shirt. You could just see the sweat on the shirt, and the poor guy was definitely in a lot of pain because he was sweating profusely. Hogan goes into the whole tirade, how are you with Heenan? And I'll just never forget when Hogan put his hands on Andre's shoulders, and Andre looked at him and said, "Get your hands off my shoulders." I'm sure you knew what was going on for sure. And then nothing will ever beat when Andre said, "Look at me when I talk to you. I'm here to challenge you for the WWF Championship at the WrestleMania." And then he rips Hogan saying, "You know, Andre, this is not happening. We're friends." And Bobby Heenan goes, "You can't believe it? Maybe you'll believe this." And he pulls the crucifix off Hogan's neck. Hogan just looks like he's in total disgust. It really was one of the greatest angles ever done in wrestling. And for my money, my lifetime, I would say it was probably the greatest angle. But the way WWF did it was so well done. And what a build-up to get to this point. They have the epic match at WrestleMania 3. And just think about WrestleMania 3, because this is the point I get to with the greatest WrestleMania in my lifetime. It seemed like every match they had on that card, they had a great storyline. Now, the opening match was just that. It was an opening match. There was really no build-up between either teams. It was the Can-Am Connection against Don Morocco and Bob Orton. That was just to kind of get the match opened with. But then you look at the Billy Jack Haynes, Hercules match. Those two had been feuding for a while over the Full Nelson. That match ended with, like, Billy Jack in a bloody mess. I had never seen anything quite like that, and that just kind of freaked me out. Then the third match, it didn't necessarily have a build-up, but boy, the way they did the ending was just crazy. The mixed tag team match between Lord Littlebrook and Little Tokyo and King Kong Bundy versus Little Beaver, the Haiti Kid, and Hillbilly Jim. And the whole build-up to the match was Bundy was the ending, and that was Bundy slamming Little Beaver and giving him an elbow drop. But I just remember that freaked me out, and just I could not believe he did that to him. And I remember being so mad at him for doing that. It was kind of crazy how they did it. Then there was the match between Harley Race and Junkyard Dog about who was the real king. They had been feuding for a few months. That was a tremendous build-up. The next match was a build-up to basically solidify Brutus Beefcake's face turn. He had been flirting with turning face ever since Adrian Adonis had cut his hair, which, by the way, I was at that event when Adrian Adonis accidentally cut his hair. It was held at the New Haven Coliseum. I'll never forget it. It was the first taping I had ever went to, and that was just a great build-up. So, you know, the Rizzo brothers versus the Dream Team, you know, Bravo interferes, and they just leave Beefcake alone in the ring. Then it was the big match between Piper and Adonis. They'd been feuding for months over the flower shop and Piper's Pit. It all culminated into Roddy Piper retiring after the match, and Adonis finally got his head shaved, though. If you watch the match, guys, that was a terrible job cutting his hair. Somewhere along the way, they screwed that up because he barely got his hair cut the right way. It wasn't shaved. They would have to do it later, you know, off camera. What a great match. Then there was the Bulldogs and Tito Santana versus the Hart Foundation and Danny Davis. And all those months, Danny Davis had been screwing the good guys out of matches. It came down to this. The Butch Reed Coco Beware match wasn't really a lot of build-up. And there was the big match between Steamboat and Savage, which people still talk about today. What a great match that was. It was really one of the greatest matches of all time. And both guys should be very proud for the way they performed that night, because the Hogan-Andre match was the big match, but this match stole the show. And it was just a classic match with Steamboat winning the IC belt. And, of course, there was Jake the Snake versus the Honky Tonk Man. A couple months earlier, Honky Tonk had whacked him over the head with the guitar. Jake, to this day, still says Honky Tonk messed up his neck with that guitar. But people you listen to say that guitar was definitely gimmick. So it's just a matter of who you believe. Then after that match, there was the Killer Bees versus Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. And it was about Hacksaw Jim Duggan stealing the show in that match. He wasn't going to let Nikolai sing the Russian anthem anymore. He said, if you did, I'm going to chase you out of the ring. And then finally, guys, the big match, Hogan-Andre, and just a great build-up, like I said. Everything that went into that match. Andre was not doing good health-wise. But just watch this match, guys, and you see so many things as you get older. You know, when you're watching it at the time, I remember biting my nails. Andre dominated most of the match, and I really thought Andre was going to win. I was so nervous. But I'll never forget, early on in the match, Hogan had attempted to slam Andre, and he failed, and Andre almost pinned him. And if you listen, guys, if you listen closely to Bobby Heenan outside the ring, like for a few minutes, he was adamant it was a 3 count. And you even hear him say to Joey Marella, that was a 3 count, you asshole. And it was really weird. Like, Heenan always kind of played the part like it was real time. He never acted like kayfabe or any of that stuff. He really acted like he was upset. And it was just a great job by Bobby Heenan, the way he did that. Throughout the match that Andre dominated, Hogan would occasionally throw a few punches. He kind of slammed Andre's head into the turnbuckle maybe 10 times. But very little offense. But then Andre had missed a head bunt, which, guys, if you watch the head bunt, he never even hits the railing. If you're a fan now and you watched it, you could show how fake it was. He tries to head bunt Hulk Hogan outside the ring, misses, and they say he hit the turnbuckle. He hit his hands, guys. He never even hit the turnbuckle. Finally, Andre brings Hogan in the ring. He misses with a foot, and Hogan clotheslines him. And Andre basically did not sell that good at all. When Hogan clotheslined him, Andre just kind of like didn't fall right away and then fell. But then you look at Hogan, he starts hulking up. He body slams Andre, which that's what everybody remembers, guys. We had never seen Andre body slammed before. He was body slammed by Antonio Inoki, and he was even body slammed by Hogan in the early 80s when Hogan was a bad guy and Andre was a good guy. But we had never really seen those matches till years later. So this was the first time we saw somebody body slam Andre. And then Hogan hits him with a leg drop, pins him. And I mean, I'll never forget, I was just in awe of, like, Hogan right after that match. You know, David had beat Goliath. It really was that type of, you know, ending. And listening to Bob Uecker, who was one of the guest celebrities, introduce Hogan as retaining the title, I just really thought it was so well done. And guys, keep an eye. If you watch after that match and Hogan's going back to the locker room, you know, they had him on those little ring carts. Hogan's doing all his posing as he's leaving the ring. But if you watch when he goes through the curtain, he takes the cameras off him. He kind of puts his head down like he's going to pass out. That's how relieved he was and how tired he was from that match, because as he had heard the story many times, he didn't really know what to expect from Andre in that match. So I think he went into that match a nervous wreck. But just a great WrestleMania, guys. I don't care what anybody says. We could argue and we could have a debate. To me, that's the greatest WrestleMania of all time. And it's hard to believe now that was WrestleMania 3, and now we're going into WrestleMania 35. Say what you want about Vince McMahon, but one thing you can never take away from him, he has made this company into like a phenomenon that we never thought could be possible. He really does deserve all the credit for the success of that company. I don't like a lot of things he does. I think he's mistreated a lot of his wrestlers. But as far as like a marketer and putting on the show and everything like that, listen, you're not going to find too many better than him. So have a good week, guys. Enjoy the WrestleMania if you watch it. I don't know if I will. I might, you know, look at it a little bit. But just remember that wrestling was a great time when we saw it in the 80s, because I really enjoyed it. Have a great day.
All right, that's a pretty good report for the WrestleMania stuff. I want to thank Nietzsche for that, because that was a good one. And if you're watching the video, I put all kinds of WrestleMania stuff on there so that you had something to watch while you were hearing him talk. So, very cool, very cool. If you're a Walking Dead fan, which I am, you'll have seen the finale for this year. And I gotta say, I think they had a great year. I think that it was a new turn on how they're portraying the characters, and actually gave them much more depth than they had before. And they all have these desires to put their communities together, and they the week before the finale, they had the scene where there are like 10 heads on pikes to tell everybody to stay off the Whisper Land. Then last week, or this past grand finale, was really, really good because they went and took the first time they've done it in wintertime, and they had actual snow and all this stuff. Now, they do this in Georgia, and usually during the summer, so they had to use an actual set to do this. But they put together a pretty good ending, and one that you'll be definitely interested if you are a Walking Dead fan. If you're not a Walking Dead fan, I'm sorry. It's actually a good show. And The Walking Dead actually had wait a minute, here we are. I'm trying to pull it up here. At the end, they had a big surprise, and here is the big surprise that they had. So if you're not a Walking Dead fan, you could care less about this. But if you are a Walking Dead fan, you'll find this, hopefully, to be a good, interesting thing. But it's interesting how they tied this all together. Now Rick had left the show mid-season. They all think he's dead. Now they're about 7 years ahead of when he supposedly died, but he's still alive because they found him, or they haven't found him yet. But there will be a thing that at the end they ended up putting a radio together to broadcast back and forth between the communities, and in this broadcast they found out something new, and here is what it is. Hopefully, as soon as I hit the spot.
No, it's over. The kingdom fell.
So the kingdom fell too. That's the bad part. And
It's time we make it to the next way station.
so here they're. Apparently, there's the kingdom had a major falling. In fact, one of the buildings looked like had major burns to it and stuff. So they're taking the people that are left from the kingdom, and they're trekking towards I think Alexandria is where they end up going, and this is all in the snow. And then they're also talking about the radio. Well, they're all trying to be warm, and Negan is out of his chains, so they're watching him, but he's not chained up, and he's now in one of the buildings in Alexandria. So this is what they see happens.
Territory. We trigger a war.
We didn't agree to those borders.
Is it them?
And those winter walkers are really weird. And, well, I guess that's all they really did show you. They didn't show the whole thing, which is a shame. But, and they got their own soundtrack. Doesn't always work. But anyway, I gotta put the other screen back together. I think it's really interesting how they ended the season, and it's a lot different than the comic books. So the TV show and the comic books, they mirror each other sort of. But at the end of the episode, you hear Eugene. It says here, The Walking Dead season 9 ended with the Hilltop community, Hilltop-based King Ezekiel making contact with Judith through the long-range radio developed by Eugene. So Eugene is building this radio, and so they actually are able to talk back and forth. So Judith, the little girl, is talking to the big king, and then when you leave, you hear the radio start talking. It says, "Hello, hello," asks a voice calling out live on the open air. "Is anybody out there?" And the voice goes unanswered because Ezekiel's signed off from the particular thing. So we are not supposed to know where where it was from, but if you listen to the broadcasts that are coming out, like there's a couple podcasts that deal with the Walking Dead. The one guy talks, it's about, he actually knows who it is. He said it's the, let me see if I can find it. Walking Dead. All right. So, but anyway, it was kind of interesting because they finally they had this voice, and here we go. I got it. I thought I had this in the. They tell you who the voice was at the end of the chapter to set up for the next season. Now, I got to tell you, this season was really, really good with a lot of the characters dying, or that are no longer with the show. I mean, with Maggie leaving and Rick leaving, and supposedly Michonne's leaving next year or next season. So it kind of is interesting where they're going with it, because it may just they're going to take some chances on it working. So that's kind of interesting. But according to this thing I read, it says if the plans for season 10 mimic the storylines from the comics, she and her team have introduced a new community called the Commonwealth. In the comics, before the Whisper War fully boils over, Eugene finds himself grieving the loss of a loved one during the mass beheadings. And in that mass beheadings, it was originally, in the comic books, it was Rosita. One of the people was Rosita, who was spared for the TV version. As he's mourning Rosita's death, Eugene hears a voice over the radio prompting him to embark on a likely friendship with a cautious stranger. The person is eventually revealed as Stephanie, a woman who lives in a sprawling Ohio community called the Commonwealth. It's by far the most expansive and elaborate community in the world of the dead, at least as far as the heroes have encountered through the nearly 200 episodes of the comic book series. The Commonwealth is so vast that it includes law firms, bakeries, and vacation spots, making the Alexandria safe zone look positively medieval in comparison. The Commonwealth serves as the next major story point of the Walking Dead comics. And once the threat of the Whispers is well and fully resolved, what's more, it's still at the heart of the ongoing comic book storyline. In other words, if AMC drama is about to dive headfirst into the Commonwealth, it's going to be getting dangerously close to catching up to the pace of the Kirkman original series of events. So what happens is they take some of the events from the comic book and they alter them, or they skip them, or they do them out of sequence, or, for instance, they killed off Carl, and in the TV series, well, he's still alive, I think, in the comic books. So you have to find people to replace him. Well, one person that was going to replace him was now on a pike. The Henry, who was one of the ones that was put on the pike, is one of the ones that was going through and doing some of the storylines that was attributed to Carl in the comic books. And I think the other thing was Judith is the little young girl is continuing with some of the things, because Carl's gone, continuing with some of the stuff that he is doing that he would have done if he'd been alive. So it's it makes sense, and I like it. And I really will tell people, if you quit at the Negan, watch it beyond the Negan, beyond that first episode that was where they killed Abraham and Glenn, because it has gotten probably the best season as far as writing goes of any of the things right now that are out there. So I just definitely would tell you to give it another try, because there's a lot of life in this TV show yet, and we're just kind of waiting to see where it goes. I like to think that it's going to go a long time yet, because there's a lot of good storyline left. So anyway, that is the Walking Dead thing I wanted to talk about. Almost forgot about that. And Captain Marvel has gone past $1 billion worldwide. Captain Marvel and Black Panther now have both broken $1 billion very quickly. So that's another interesting thing to keep on with the new Avengers movie coming out next month. So that's the important stuff. Let's see. I want to make sure I do certain things that are in here. Where do we go here? Okay, skip that. The main show, we got tons of stuff that I want to talk about. Okay, this is another one of those stories under who cares. Girls were forced to wear skirts at school to preserve chivalry, so they said. And they sued and won. So, this is a bizarre story. So, these girls were forced to wear their skirts. And I guess that meant they couldn't wear pants. So, I would think that in this day and age, to force a uniform like that upon people would be really a problem because of the gender diversity that's out there nowadays. But it still exists because there's still people out there that think things should be the way they think they should be. But here we go. Here's the story. As soon as I get to the top, I had the top. Here we go. Every so often, Charter Day School in North Carolina would hold fire or tornado drills in which students had to kneel and protect their heads from flying debris or crawl to the ground to avoid imaginary smoke. But girls had a much more immediate threat to the fear. The boys. I don't think boys were supposed to be looking up our skirts, but they did. Former student Keely Burks said in a statement in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of North Carolina, "I wish I was wearing pants or shorts during those drills. She was prohibited by the uniform policy." This week, a federal judge in North Carolina ruled that the school's policy towards girls' clothing was unconstitutional, the culmination of the court fight that began in 2016 between 3 girls and the Leyland, North Carolina school administrators. In ruling, the U.S. District Judge Malcolm Howard said that the policy at the charter school violated equal protection clause of the U.S. Constitution because girls were treated differently than boys. Girls at the school, which serves kindergarten through 8th grade, could wear only skirts, jumpers, or skirts, which is it says here, skirt with shorts underneath, as part of their uniforms, with the exception of for education classes. Baker Mitchell, the founder of the Roger Bacon Academy, which runs Charter Day School, told the Washington Post in a statement that the Charter Day School board is analyzing the opinion and will, with a meeting with council in the very near future, to discuss their options moving forward. Before the lawsuit, the policy had been controversial amongst parents and their students. Some students had circulated a petition that they said gathered over 100 signatures, only to have it confiscated. You know, there's something wrong with that. Freedom of speech and all that stuff, that they would confiscate that. Parent Bonnie Pelcher was attending an orientation for CDs in 2015 when she learned that the girls' uniform rules require them to wear skirts, jumpers, or skirts. Mitchell explained in an email that the dress code, along with the other policies, were meant to preserve chivalry and respect among your young women and men. He cited social concerns with teen pregnancies and casual sex for the need to create a learning environment that embodied traditional values. Frustrated with the policy, Peltier contacted the American Civil Liberties Union, which helped her daughter and 2 other plaintiffs file a federal lawsuit in March 2016. We're having to tell our daughters, even though this is what they're teaching you, this is not the way the world works anymore. According to the decision, the skirt requirement forced girls to pay constant attention to the positioning of their legs during class, distracting them from learning, and has led to avoid certain activities altogether, such as climbing or playing sports during recess, all for fear of exposing the undergarments and being reprimanded by teachers and teased by boys. The school defended the policy, saying it was based on a traditional value and is in place to instill discipline and to keep order. They argue that taking away the visual cues of the skirts requirement would hinder respect between the two sexes. To me, you're talking about serious problems. There are going to be all kinds of issues with gender and with skirts and all that stuff. I just don't see how they think they could have. Well, I guess they thought they could do whatever they wanted because they are the school, but it sounds like they lost, and that could be an issue. So this is weird. The Wisconsin couple up in our friend Amy's area warned they must take down the gay pride flag or face eviction. Oh man, I don't even think I understand why people would be upset by the flag, other than they're just, they don't like gay people, I would guess. I guess that would make it. That would be the reason. So I think it's a really strange story, and I think that it's weird to think about it. But a Wisconsin couple said they have been threatened by their property owner with eviction if they do not remove a gay pride flag from their apartment patio. I'll tell you, this sounds like it could be in court real soon, because I don't know that they can do that. As long as it's not an eyesore, if it's not like an old rusted car, it's a flag. I don't think they could really knock them out of their apartment for that. They would have to have another reason than that. Anyway, it says that Kevin Coleman and his partner Merle Malterer received an eviction notice in the mail last week that gave them 5 days to leave their unit if they do not remove the gay pride-themed American flag. The flag was a traditional 50-star at the top left corner, but replaces the red and white stripes with multicolored ones instead. Coleman and Malterer have rented an apartment at the County Oaks Apartments in Oak Creek, Wisconsin for nearly 6 years and plan to keep their flag, and they want to renew their lease, but they're frustrated at what they feel is selective prosecution. I would imagine they could take that to a lawyer and they could use something with where they're being prosecuted because, or, persecuted, I should say, because of being gay, I would imagine. I would think that would be a losing battle for the apartment complex. They better come up with a better reason than that to kick someone out. I would imagine that would be the case, because I can't even imagine some judge coming behind that saying that it's okay. In this day and age, we sue for everything, and we apparently win for everything. So I just think that that's a situation that you're going to lose that if you prosecute. My flag is not doing anything, Coleman told the News. It's just a symbol of who we are, where we came from, and our love for the United States. Coleman and Malterer shared the letter with NBC, which stated they breached their rental contract by hanging a flag. Well, maybe that's a loophole there, because if that's in the lease, they don't have a leg to stand, I would think, on. The couple complied earlier this year when asked by the apartment complex to remove the Green Bay Packers flag. Oh, well, they do have a precedence of other flags being flying. They may actually have a problem winning this, now that I see that. The couple told the News that several other apartments hang American and police-themed flags. So there, they have another thing that they can complain about and on their side. The big thing is I'm not going to be bullied over at 52 years of age. Neither is my partner. We're not going to be told we're not in compliance with our legal and right under the First Amendment. I really think that this is going to be an interesting thing for the people to follow, because they got a lot of good things. If there's other flags that are flying, I would imagine that they have something they could talk about. If there were no other flags flying, I mean, if they were told to take down the Packers flag, and they did, I would imagine that if there's other flags that are out there, they will not be able to do that. And that's going to be interesting to watch. I really think that they don't really have any foot to stand on as far as the rental place. If there are other things that are, you know, currently flying that do not meet the same thing. So I don't know, but it's really bizarre to think about that that this is even anything that people are complaining about. Just seems like that they probably don't like gay people, and they would love to find a reason to get rid of them. This is a good story, though. Here's a good one. Sheriff: bystanders saved deputy's life by pulling him from a burning car. Now, when was the last time that happened? Well, I guess this particular time is the last time it happened. But usually we read, you know, about a cop pulling somebody out of a car. This is somebody pulling a cop out of a car that was burning. So big kudos to them, and saved the guy's life. So that's a great thing. But here's what I got. I hope it's not a commercial.
Recovering from a serious crash, and the sheriff says he might not have made it were it not for brave bystanders. Well, those heroes have pulled Deputy John Taylor from the wreckage of his car shortly before that vehicle went up in flames.
That's a weird thing.
Leslie Apple spoke with one of those Samaritans tonight. She joins us live from Spalding County.
Alexa, that deputy is in ICU tonight?
Yeah, he is. He's on a ventilator right now, but should be taken off pretty shortly. His family said he's tough, and he's always had a heart to serve. When that deputy was in trouble and needed help, 2 bystanders passing by stepped up to protect and serve him, saving his life.
That's a cool thing.
It hadn't have been for 2 guys that come by when they did, we wouldn't be having this conversation. They got him out of the vehicle. And all I can say is those guardian angels.
Guardian angels 22-year-old John Taylor desperately needed after he crashed into a tree on Hannah's Mill Road Saturday night.
He told me that he was going over a hill, and as he went over the hill, top of the hill, went down the other side, a vehicle veered over in his lane, and he basically swerved to avoid contact and hit a tree.
I guess with the cameras and stuff, they would know whether, you know, what happened by looking at the footage and seeing the other car that cut in front of them and stuff. So I guess if I was that guy, I would be real thankful that this person or that these people saved his life, because that sounds like it could have been pretty bad. If it's looks like a remote place. If you look in the background, it looks like a lot of countryside, and somebody coming by there would probably be rare, depending what time it was, what time he was found.
Maurice Murphy was one of them.
I feel like God had us there for that time. You know, I mean, I was initially not even going to go that way home. I was going to turn the other direction. I thought, nah, I'll go this way.
Murphy says he was shocked by the wreckage in front of him.
There was blood everywhere. I'm pretty sure he had bashed his head in the windshield because, like, there was a big dome in the windshield.
They called 911, but soon realized they couldn't wait for police because the car was catching fire.
You just kind of see the smoke was getting worse, and I'm like, I think we might need to get him out of here.
With a shattered pelvis and a femur split in half, the men moved Taylor as carefully as possible.
He must have been really booking if he has all those injuries.
Just, you know, about 5 feet away, and I mean, just look back, and I mean, already there were flames that were starting to come into where he was.
That's
just
got to be
at.
scary. I would be afraid
so
to
then
do
we
that.
had to move him again because the flames were just coming so hard.
Taylor will have a long road to recovery ahead, but his father says that's nothing compared to what could have happened without the two Good Samaritans who stopped to help his son.
I could never repay him. They saved his life.
I don't know how anybody could. He's just one lucky guy. He's lucky those people were in the right place at the right time, or else he wouldn't be here. So that's kind of scary. Let's see. Look at the time. Okay, good. We got time. Here's another one that goes in the like the skirt one that we talked about earlier. I just don't know what this world is coming to. Dear outraged Notre Dame leggings mom, think about your sons, actually. So this is a story about a woman who wore leggings to Penn State. For Thursday, the only headline that shared space with Juicy Smollett on the Tribune's headlines was, or most read stories, was Notre Dame mom begs female students to stop wearing leggings. Sparkle protests think of mother's sons. So the big thing is that these girls are wearing these leggings. Now, I didn't even know what leggings were at first. I mean, I've heard of them. I've heard them in the past year, but I didn't have any idea what they were. Marianne White, a self-described Catholic mother of 4 sons, wrote a letter to the editor, published by The Observer, which is Notre Dame's student newspaper, imploring that Notre Dame women start an anti-leggings trend. She was upset, in particular, by seeing young women wearing leggings to Mass lately. I thought of the other men around me who couldn't help but see their behinds. White wrote, my sons knew better than to oogle at a woman's body, certainly when I'm around and hopefully when I'm not. They didn't stare and they didn't comment afterwards, but you couldn't help but see those blackly naked rear ends. I didn't want to see them, but they're unavoidable. How much more difficult for the young guys to ignore them. Leggings are naked, so form-fitting, so exposing, she continued. Could you think of the mother's sons the next time you go shopping and consider choosing jeans instead? Let's think about the sons rather than their mothers for a moment. Young men, I'm fairly certain, have been getting turned on by young women since the beginning of time, since long before leggings were invented, even in Mass. Is that a bad thing? See, the thing I don't understand is this. We are all people. I don't care what you wear. Leggings, if I got turned on by a woman wearing leggings, which, by the way, I've never been turned on by, because I just don't usually think about leggings. I'm more turned on by skirts than leggings. But anyway, if you can't control yourself in public, and I'm not talking to the girls wearing the leggings, I'm talking about the guys who oogle over these leggings, it's really the guy's problem. I mean, we're not animals to the point where we can't control ourselves. We can't handle whether or not whatever anybody wears. I really think that it's time that people start taking responsibility for their actions. I'm not talking about the leggings person. I'm talking about the guys that are oogling over these leggings. If you can't see a woman who is dressed in leggings, or you're not going to be able to go to a beach because they're going to be wearing even less in a beach. So where do you draw the line? Is it the girl's fault or is it the guy's fault? Now, I'm not going to give the girls a free pass because they all know what they're doing. I'm not doubting that. I'm saying it's their right to do that because we all are human beings and we all are we're all responsible for whatever we do. So I really have a problem with the people complaining about the leggings more than the leggings themselves, because personally, I'm so sick of everybody saying you can't do this, you can't do that. This is America. They can wear their leggings, and if you don't like the leggings, that's fine. Just don't look at it. And if your sons are obnoxious about leggings, they're probably obnoxious about anything the woman's wearing. And it shouldn't be, it's not like you're going to see everything. You're going to see a pair of legs, and it's no different than when skinny jeans first came out. Everybody complained about skinny jeans. There's people that will complain about anything. And I just think that it's stupid that we're always whining about, you can't wear this, you can't wear that, because that might make this guy think differently. If you're going to attack somebody or jerk off or whatever about somebody, a pair of leggings isn't going to make a difference. They're still going to do it because that's just the way guys, or particularly boys, are. And it doesn't matter what they wear. It doesn't matter if they wear leggings or just their gym outfits or whatever it is that they're wearing. I used to be turned on by girls wearing, when I was in high school, girls wearing tennis outfits. I just love tennis outfits, and that was just maybe my fetish at that time when I was a kid. But I would imagine that would be every bit as scandalous if women had thought about it back then. And they probably wouldn't be, I mean, as short as those skirts were, they probably wouldn't be amenable to that. I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous, some of the things that people complain about. So that story, I saw that and I said, well, teach your kids better maybe. Teach them that it's not proper to go out to that strip bar and see those girls wearing whatever they're wearing. I just think it's stupid. I really do. I really think that people just need to put eyes forward, and you just go about your business and don't worry about what somebody else is wearing. I think it's just ridiculous. But hey, what do I know? After all, I'm just a troublemaker. Why can't I delete that? This is not letting me delete it. Huh. All right. Let me try this again. There we go. I guess I got to hit the right button. Hey, how much would you pay for a Harry Potter book? This is a rare Harry Potter book. The amount will probably amaze you. This Harry Potter book just sold for $100,000 for a Harry Potter book. What is this world coming to? I'm in shock that is even a possibility that this could be that big of a deal. London Auction House has sold a copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for almost $100,000. I'm like in shock.
Collections. This first edition copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone sold for $90,000 at a London auction house. It belonged to renowned author J.K. Rowling's first literary agency and had some typos. There are approximately 500 copies, though, that exist, first published in 1997. In the U.S., the book would be entitled, of course, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
That's just amazing. Amazing that there's that much money in a freaking book. I can't fathom spending, why people, I watch Pawn Stars, and I just wonder, are these people real? Are they really bringing in books that he's paying $10,000 for, $15,000 for, and all that? It just amazes me that somebody would actually pay that kind of money for a book. For a book. For that money, he could have bought a movie. He could have bought the movie almost for $90,000. Well, okay, you can't, not really that, but you could buy stuff to make a movie for that. I just think it's a lot of money that these people are spending on stuff. It just, I watch Counting Cars. It's based in Vegas, and some of the cars that they sell on that show I am shocked at what they're selling them for. Like they would sell an SS Nova, and it'd be like $40,000 rebuilt. I'm thinking to myself, $40,000? That's a lot of money for a freaking old car that cost $2,000 new in the 70s or whatever. That's a lot of money. But who knows? Who knows? This world's coming to an end, I think. It's just, I think I'm going to change this show's name to The World's Coming to an End. Because I cannot fathom the crap that people pay money for. But, hey, you never know. I said that one last week. I did that story. I know I did that story last week. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is interesting. You have Mr., you have Mrs., and now you have MX. What is MX? Well, MX is for the people who don't want to be a Mr. or a Mrs. So now you have MX. So it's a gender fluid certificate so that you can be who you want to be as far as the gender. You don't have to, basically it doesn't recognize a gender. So if you're gender fluid, it says here, what makes a certificate gender neutral is the use of the honorific MX instead of MR or MS or MRS, which is Mr., Ms., Mrs. The MX pronounced MUX, which is MUX or mix, does not specify a gender of the individual referred to. It's commonly used by people who identify outside the conventional masculine-feminine gender binary. The person who made this happen was at Nassar was none other than the student whose certificate is Anita Mukherjee. Mukherjee prefers to be referred to as they instead of he or she, and here's how they did it. The beauty of the whole thing was to lay in the complete lack of hurdles. They didn't have a hard time convincing the Nassar administration to take the step. I made one request to the university administration, and the change was made. For me, this speaks to the immense power administrators have of making lives easier or more difficult for students. In fact, it is presumed I had to struggle points to how rarely we see them in life easier, and how common it is for meaningless hurdles to be created. So, the battle of Mr. and Mrs. Front has become has more to do with marital status and how honorifics are used to place women within roles. To use gender-neutral I want to say horrific, and I don't want to say horrific. Honorific serves a somewhat different function, I think. Unfortunately, in the way in which we name persons is gendered, so there are also methods to and determinations to be made of the gender of the person. Using a gender-neutral title in the context is more of a statement in that you're either saying that you do not identify as either man or woman, or you're saying that you think your gender is really not important professionally, and I doubt that it opens up any conversation, or I doubt, but it does open up spaces for conversation. So this is the new thing.